Have you ever wondered how a country with a booming economy could suddenly find itself in a deep crisis? Well, that's the story of Turkey, a nation that went from being an emerging market star to a cautionary tale. And at the center of this story is one man, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Let's break down how his unconventional policies sent the Turkish economy into a tailspin. For much of the early 2000s, Turkey was the poster child for economic success. Under the early leadership of Erdogan and his AK party, the country embraced reforms, attracted foreign investment, and saw its GDP triple. The middle class grew, infrastructure projects boomed, and Istanbul felt like the vibrant heart of a new global power. It seemed like the Turkish dream was becoming a reality. So, what went wrong? The turning point can be traced back to a fundamental clash over one key economic tool: interest rates. Mainstream economics is pretty clear on this. When inflation gets too high, you raise interest rates. This makes borrowing money more expensive, which cools down spending and helps bring prices back under control. It's like tapping the brakes on an overheating car. But President Erdogan has a very different idea. He famously declared that high interest rates are the mother and father of all evil. He believes, against all conventional wisdom, that raising interest rates actually causes inflation. He has argued that lower rates will boost production, exports, and employment, eventually leading to lower prices. Economists around the world have called this theory unorthodox, and to be frank, completely backward. So, what happens when a country's leader wages a war against interest rates? You get a direct conflict with the institution designed to manage them. The central bank of the Republic of Turkey, is supposed to be independent, making decisions based on data, not political pressure. However, over the past several years, Erdogan has systematically dismantled this independence. Governors of the central bank who dared to raise interest rates to fight soaring inflation found themselves quickly out of a job. Between 2019 and 2021, Erdogan fired 3 central bank governors in just 2 years. Each time a governor was replaced, it sent a chilling message to the markets. Economic policy in Turkey is not being set by experts. It's being dictated by the president's personal beliefs. This created a massive crisis of confidence. International investors, who had once poured billions into Turkey, started pulling their money out. They could untrust that their investments would be safe in a country where the basic rules of economics were being ignored. This capital flight put immense pressure on Turkey's currency, the Lira. And the Lira's collapse has been nothing short of spectacular. Think about it this way. In 2013, $1 would get you about 2 Turkish liras. A decade later, that same dollar could get you over 20, and at times, nearly 30 liras. This isn't just a number on a screen. It has devastating real-world consequences for the Turkish people. Imagine your salary staying the same, but the cost of everything you buy from abroad, like fuel for your car, the phone in your hand, or even raw materials for local factories, suddenly multiplies. That's exactly what happened. The value of people's savings evaporated. The cost of living skyrocketed. Official inflation figures soared past 80% at one point, but many citizens felt the real rate was much, much higher. This is the direct result of the Erdoganomics experiment. By forcing the central bank to keep interest rates artificially low, even as inflation was spiraling out of control, the government essentially threw fuel on the fire. The lira's value plunged, making imports more expensive, which in turn pushed inflation even higher. It became a vicious cycle. On top of this, the government spent billions of dollars from its foreign currency reserves trying to prop up the lira. They were essentially selling dollars to buy liras, hoping to stop the currency's freefall. But it was like trying to fill a leaky bucket with a thimble. The reserves dwindled to dangerously low levels, and the lira kept falling anyway. It was an unsustainable strategy that only delayed the inevitable and left the country more vulnerable. The human cost of this crisis is immense. Small business owners who took out loans in foreign currencies found themselves unable to repay their debts. Families struggled to afford basic groceries like bread, cheese, and cooking oil. The vibrant middle class that had been built up over years of growth started to shrink, as people's purchasing power was wiped out. The economic dream had turned into a daily struggle for survival. After his re-election in 2023, there was a surprising shift. Facing an undeniable economic disaster, Erdogan appointed a new economic team, led by respected orthodox figures like Mehmet Şimşek. This team immediately began to reverse course. They started aggressively hiking interest rates, signaling a return to more conventional economic policies. This U-turn has been welcomed by many investors and has helped to stabilize the lira somewhat. But the damage has been done. Rebuilding trust, taming inflation, and restoring the central bank's credibility will be a long and painful process. The Turkish people are still grappling with the high cost of living, and the road to recovery is filled with challenges. The story of Turkey's economy is a powerful lesson in what happens when political ideology trumps sound economic principles. It shows that no matter how powerful a leader is, they cannot defy the laws of economics forever without serious consequences. While the recent policy shift offers a glimmer of hope, the scars of the past few years will take a long time to heal. Turkey's journey is a stark reminder that economic stability is fragile and that the independence of key institutions like a central bank is not just a technical detail, it is the bedrock of a healthy economy. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.